Day 3 without any power, and I'm losing my mind. Grossi Posse Packer Nation, welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. Yep, the generator is currently running this equipment and nothing else. So, sorry, fridge. Grossi, and today we are going to be talking about Jon Gruden. Oh, God. Because it's just a phenomenal story. Before we get to that, I want to do a big shout and thank you to a brand new patron and brand new YouTube member. First, over on the Patreon side of things, we have RSD2, almost R2D2, but with an S. And we have Riker Rockstar. A big shout out and thank you to the both of you. So as of this moment of recording, which is a little less than an hour till the opt-out deadline, no Packers have informed the team or the NFL that they are going to be opting out, meaning that the only Packers player that will be opting out is Devin Funchess. And so basically what you're going to be seeing this year is pretty much the same Packers personnel as last year, of course, with the addition of this year's draft class. And on that note, only 56 players have tested positive for COVID, which is only 2% of the 2,600 players on active rosters. So while it is still very, very early, this is a very good sign. Obviously, when the season actually begins, who knows what's going to happen to those numbers, but as we said a few days ago, the season is on, and it seems like they are just going to roll with it until the wheels fall off. But instead today, I wanted to focus a little bit on a story that honestly sounds like it is ripped from The Office or Parks and Rec, and that is about Raiders head coach Jon Gruden. So, NFL Network's Mike Garofalo first reported this yesterday. Apparently what happened were players logged on to a Zoom call in which they were expected to see Jon Gruden. Instead, they were met by Rich Bisaccia, who is the special teams coach. He's an assistant head coach. And what he told players was that Coach Gruden was in the hospital because he got COVID. He was doing all right, but he was hospitalized. All the players were like, oh, I can't believe it. That's terrible. The problem with that is it wasn't true, because I guess a few minutes later, they said, no, bro, it's just a prank. And the purpose of this was that it could happen to anybody. That was the message that Gruden wanted to send to the team. So 56-year-old Jon Gruden pretended to have coronavirus so he could send a message to the team that, hey, gotta be on your toes, gotta be careful, this could happen to anybody. And the first time I heard this story, I flat out laughed, because I'm like, all right, that's legitly funny. And then the second I heard of it, I was like, that has to be either the greatest or the worst idea ever. Because God forbid that Jon Gruden sometime during this season actually gets COVID and they have to tell the team and they're like, that's fine. Meanwhile, Gruden is actually in the hospital and these players are like, where is he? Is he behind that curtain over there? So yeah, this is going to be the boy that cried wolf and totally won't backfire on Gruden. But apparently it was reported that the players took it to heart, realizing the severity of the message, which again, I don't know how you get away with that in any other business. If I was doing distance learning and my wife was here and told my students, Mr. Grossi is in the hospital with COVID, and then 5 minutes later, I popped up and I was like, oh, just kidding, kids. I'm still alive and well. I feel like I'm fired from that job. So yes, Jon Gruden finding new ways to be Jon Gruden. Knock if you're with me. In other news, I was going to make a separate video on this, but honestly, I don't care enough to. Analysts talking about Antonio Brown potentially going to the Packers. The Packers have not said anything. The Packers have not expressed interest. Let's just nip this right in the butt. No. Just no. Besides the fact that he's not even going to be useful the first half of the season because he's suspended, the amount of issues and baggage that he comes with is honestly a risk that I don't even want to take. I doubt the Packers are even giving him a look. I, of course, can be wrong. And if the Packers wound up signing him, of course, I'm going to hope for the best. But good God, man, can we just stop Just stop. Let the Seahawks pick him up and let him trash their franchise. If there was any wide receiver that the Packers were going to sign, I do not think it's going to be Antonio Brown. Maybe a Josh Gordon, even though the Seahawks have expressed interest in signing him. But at this point, as we've talked about numerous times over the season, I think that we're just going to roll with what we have. Will that be enough? Who knows? But I don't want to be in a position where I think the fate of my franchise/season relies on Antonio Brown. Do you? But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Maybe you want to bring the guy in. But you can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy on all social media. See down below. Check out podcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And a big shout out and thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy and the YouTube members. But thank you so much for watching. Hopefully it is said that I'm going to get power back by tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, which if that's the case, then I will be having the Friday night Q&A. It will just be later tomorrow, but I'll keep you posted. But thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.